To mix it up, host of the Young Turks, Cenk and blogger for politicsdaily.com and townhall.com, Matt Lewis, both friends of the show. And gentlemen, it's nice to see you. Cenk, I'll begin with you. What is the most valuable thing somebody who is not either a politician or a general in this war can do to help our soldiers? This war has been going on obviously forever, so.
Well, the biggest help we could give our soldiers is to get out of the war. Enough is enough. I was in favor of the Afghanistan war when it began, and I thought Obama was right to focus on that because that's where al-Qaeda is more likely to be, although we know actually they're in Pakistan. But I've been convinced by the circumstances. Matt Ho, a brilliant diplomat who resigned in Afghanistan for us, says, look, it's valleyism. They fight in the valleys no matter who comes in there, whether it's the Russians, the Americans, or the Taliban. So instead of fighting us, because we're there, if we withdraw, they'll be fighting the Taliban. We've seen examples of that. This war has gone on too long, and it's cost us way, way too much money. As Congressman Grayson says, we're feeding right into the hands of bin Laden, who announced, hey, look, I don't really want to win the war. All I want to do is make you spend all that money. And we're playing into his hands. We shouldn't do it anymore. We got to get out.
Matt, A, do you agree with what you just heard? And B, to the extent to which you do or you do not, how much of our inability to get out is a direct function of the fact that our politicians basically don't have either the political courage or ability to do it? It's easier to let it be than to try to deal with it effectively.
Well, I mean, look, President Obama got elected. One of his big reasons for getting elected was he said this was the good war, that Afghanistan is where we should be. I think, there was an article that Congressman Grayson wrote where he actually compared this to the Soviet invasion. I think the two are not analogous at all. I mean, the Soviets were attempting to essentially make Afghanistan a communist country, to secularize the mullahs, to take burqas off of women. America is there simply on a limited basis to prevent Afghanistan from becoming a base for extremists to launch attacks against the West. I think that that's a smart thing for us to do. And frankly, people who worry about the amount of time or even money are thinking about conventional warfare. This is a different kind of war, and as President Obama has said, if you're waiting for there to be a big sort of signing ceremony and treaty, it's not going to happen. Our goal here is to prevent this from becoming a base for extremists.
But go ahead, Cenk.
Yeah, Matt, I got to ask you, so what is victory? How do you define victory, and how long are we going to stay there? Because under your definition, it seems like this war is not going to be 8 years, it's going to be 100 years. We're going to have to stay there forever.
Well, look, I think, first of all, the global war on terror is going to be an ongoing war, although in Afghanistan there are plans to have a withdrawal and to sort of have a changing of the guard. But look, we're also doing things in Pakistan. President Obama, I think, didn't get that much credit, but last week one of those drones took out the #3 al-Qaeda operative. I think that this is a positive sign, and if we're worried about fighting terrorism,
right, Matt. That's exactly right. But look at what we did. We didn't spend that much money. We did a drone strike. We took out the #3 guy for al-Qaeda. We think it's the #3 guy. It's always the #3 guy. But I'm ecstatic about that. But we didn't have to spend $1 trillion on wars to do that. And instead, in Afghanistan, the money matters. We're in a massive deficit here, and we got to get out of that deficit. And we can't stay there indefinitely. And there is no time that we could say, okay, we won, because we don't even know what victory is.
Let's turn to Goldman Sachs here and the subpoena, again, issued by the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission. Goldman not cooperating on some level with them. Commission officials say Goldman has failed to provide the documents that they need and has instead flooded them with documents that they don't want, more than 2.5 billion pages worth, which is an old trick. A Goldman spokesperson says, quote, we have been and continue to be committed to providing the FCIC, with information that they have requested. Pretty clever if you're Goldman Sachs, just to bury them in paperwork and leave them scratching their heads if you're going to run a scheme like the big banks are running against the country. Wouldn't you say, Cenk, if you were them, you would try and do the same thing, wouldn't you?
I did. I used to be a lawyer, and I represented corporate officers and directors.
So you know how it works. It says that's the plan, right? Yeah.
It's the oldest trick in the book. Oh, you want documents? We'll give you documents.
Sure.
And they gave them 2.5 billion pages so that they know with a budget of $8 million, it's impossible for them to sift through those.
Brilliant.
It's like giving them nothing at all.
Yeah.
And that's why now they're coming after them with subpoenas, which they definitely should. We should have come after Goldman Sachs in every imaginable way. I mean, we're doing the protest on Wednesday. Wednesday at the Treasury Department to get our $13 billion back, because Goldman Sachs took $13 billion of taxpayer money. They should also be on the hook for that. They're making a tremendous killing right now. They got the money. We don't have a crisis in confidence anymore. Let's get it back.
Well, we gave them the money at the bottom of the market where no one else had money, so that they could then buy everything when it went back up, along with the rest of the banks. It was, I mean, this is one of the most brilliant rip-offs I've ever seen in my entire life. If you were to look, Matt, at the political response to any of the ongoing, that we can go banks till we're blue in the face, but do you get any sense, Matt, that either party is really prepared to deal with the structural issues in banking?
No, not at all. And I mean, look, you know, Henry Paulson, former chairman of Goldman Sachs, worked in both the Bush and the Obama administrations. But I think Cenk is right in the sense that, you know, after taking TARP money, Goldman Sachs takes $13 billion taxpayer dollars when AEI went belly up.
AIG, yeah.
I'm sorry, when AIG went belly up. It's a horrible, if nothing else, it's a horrible PR disaster. And frankly, I think that their CEO, Lloyd Blankfein, might want to step down. Yeah. I think that this stuff is too cute by half. And guess what? I think if the CEO stepped down, you would see the market rally. So, but as it is right now, you can't blame the Feds for not really trusting what they're getting out of Goldman.
Yeah. Listen, we'll leave it there. Matt, maybe you want to join Cenk on Wednesday at his Treasury March. Again, what time is it?
I think I might pass on that.
Listen, you never could be a good time. Cenk could be a good time. What time is it, Cenk?
It's at 1:30, right in front of the Treasury building, right next to the White House. And I definitely want conservatives to come out there as well, because why wouldn't you want our $13 billion back? I mean, this isn't capitalism when they take it from the taxpayer. And you should ask the Democratic Treasury Secretary, come on, do your job. Get our money back for us.
They shouldn't have taken the money. It was a horrible mistake, and they're paying for it.
Yeah. Listen, we're paying for it more than anybody.